Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this very lovely live stream. Oh, I'm hearing myself in loop as well. Let me fix that. Panic. There you go. I've got rid of that. And today we're going to talk with the Ninja team. We're joined by Malt Breezy.
Hello.
Moderator who is extremely excited to be here today.
Hello.
There you go.
Hello.
I did not match the excitement on your picture, just saying.
Yeah, you're going to have to accept my monotonous voice with my happy
Yeah.
face.
Yeah. I mean, your camera got frozen, right? So it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're joined by Mok Kalea as well.
Hiyo!
There we go. Big squat here. And we're going to talk about loads of things Ninja. What they do, a bit how they work, as well as just try and answer some of the questions, of course. But before we get into that, let me go through a couple of things. Of course, double XP is in full swing. Have any of you got some fancy gains? No achievements?
Go on,
Go for it, Breezy.
I got 120 Herblore the other day, and I got,
Nice.
I think, 60 mil in summoning.
Ooh, that's pretty decent.
50
Nice.
mil in the... So, yeah, pretty good.
Cool. You alright here?
I've just been smithing, so I had like 180k corrupted ore, and I still got like 98k, but I've only got like an hour and a half left of double XP. So that was like 55 mil smithing XP, but like I still need another double XP's worth to actually get rid of all this bloody corrupted ore.
What's the goal here then? want a
Get rid of the corrupted ore.
Oh.
I mean, it'll probably fall me just short of 120 smithing by the end of it, and then maybe 200 mil after that. I enjoy going for 200 mils, so probably.
Okay. All right. Not okay.
Yeah, you're crazy. You've already got 200 mil in archaeology, haven't you?
I did get 200 mil archaeology, yeah.
Crazy.
Good fun,
Did
though.
you get-
Good fun.
Did you get any fancy gains, Mort Kalea?
I got 101 invention today.
Ooh, fancy.
I don't get
feel
all
like
invention, so all I'm doing is fishing with the rods to get invention experience, because that's the only way I know how to do invention.
I feel like my achievements don't matter now anymore. I just got 99 mining. I was very excited about that. And
I'm
I
just
should
sad that I
hopefully
can't
get.
play archaeology.
I mean, you can. You just won't get the double XP, right?
Won't get the-
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, aside from double XP, also put your lovely double XP achievements so far already in the chat, I would say. Furthermore, there's currently an engagement server live, so you get a fancy login message for that as well. I believe if you log in, you would help us a lot by filling in that survey. Then if we move on, yesterday we had the first wave of our iOS beta. Which filled up incredibly fast, so we really appreciate everyone being so excited for it. And hopefully we should see a new wave coming very soon as well. But everything so far is really good. We're getting loads of feedback, so that's much appreciated. There's a lot of info we've got this time. The results from the player gallery for archaeology have also come in, so if you want to read who are the winners and see some amazing artworks and creative pieces in the meantime, definitely check out the Monday's news post. And then, not last but almost least, is on Thursday we're going to have an Ask Me Anything with CPSL Mind. CPL's on our Reddit, and CPSL Mind is a local mental health charity that provides support to individuals experiencing mental health problems, both during the periods of the crisis and afterwards as well. So, if you've got any questions for them, there's going to be a Reddit AMA from 4 p.m. till 8 p.m. BST. Look after that, and then actually last but least, and then we'll get into all the cool Ninja stuff as well. Twitch Prime. I'm saying it right. Let me double check, because I just got the reminder for that. Yes, a new Twitch Prime month is starting, so two things. Make sure you get the fancy loot from that. And then secondly, make sure... Oh, it's not live yet. It will go live later today. I get in my ear from what Nico. And also make sure you use your Twitch Prime sub on your favorite content creators to support them, because they can always use that, which is quite nice. So there you go. It is live for some of them already, so I think it's going live exactly at this moment-ish. So keep an eye out for that. But without further ado, because otherwise it's just going to be a very boring thing, let's talk about the Ninja team, what they do, and how everything's. I'm just going to say it, but I can't look to the screen with the cameras on and see your face the whole time, moderator. This is going to be terrible for me. But it's good. I love
Enjoy
the
it,
picture.
man.
Yeah, no, I will. I'm thoroughly enjoying it right now.
I mean, you picked the picture, so it's kind of your own fault,
That's
if I'm
true.
honest.
I did pick the picture.
And it's better than your drawing version, anyway.
I made a beautiful drawing for it as well. If it's good enough, I might share it on Twitter afterwards. If you want to see a drawn version of the picture, you can see on Twitch right now. But yeah, can all three of you, and we'll start with Breezy and then go to Orator and Kalea. Could all three of you give a little bit of an introduction of what you do on the team and kind of what your role is on the Ninja team? Breezy?
Yeah, sure. I'm in QA. So I'm the starting QA from the team. It started back in February. But that's mostly it.
Okay. Moderator?
Yeah, so I'm a content developer within the Ninja team. I previously have been a part of the episodic team. Worked on archaeology for a few months. Moved off just before that all wrapped up. Yeah, I was with episodic for like 3 years. It wasn't always called episodic. It was like had various different names, but it was that sort of like the new content team. So yeah, Ninja's a new thing for me.
Yeah, but it's actually been new. I thought you had been on it previously. Similarly for you, I want to ask the question before we move on to Kalea as well. What other pieces of content have you worked on? And we'll get back to you for that as well, Breezy.
Sure.
You want me first?
You go first.
What content have I worked on?
Yeah, what are the pieces of content you've worked on in that 3-year period almost? Just a couple to name.
Oh,
so we
Christ.
get a bit of
yeah, so archaeology is obviously the most recent thing. That was pretty big. I was on there for 7 months, maybe 8 months of like the 18-month development. I was on Anachronia, so Land Out of Time, did old Big Game Hunter, and a whole bunch of other things as part of that update. So yeah, it was 2 like big projects back to back. And then before that, I'd done loads of little things like the Clue Scroll overhaul, crikey. Then we're going way back at that point. I don't even remember. Master Skill Cape Perks is another one. You Are It. So yeah, a few little bits here and there.
Cool. Breezy? Which project have you been doing a lot of the testing in the QA?
I started with the mining and smithing rework in the last about 6 or 7 months of its development. We moved on to the Comp Cape rework. I did a little bit on Kairos Quest. I forgot what the quest. Desperate Times. Then somewhere around there, I moved on to Weapon Diversity / the first time user experience on mobile. 120 farming and herblore, and now Ninja.
Cool. This is a lot of variety as well. Cool. Let's get to you, Kalea, because you've had a big journey already. I think you've done a lot. You've been a community manager, am I right?
I have indeed. Yeah, I started in player support or customer support back 7-8 years ago. Moved up into community management, spent a few years there, and then on into product management, which is what I'm doing now. And I'm helping to lead the ninjas on their ways and making sure that we're hitting the right stuff, challenging the things that need to be challenged in the game to get the quality of life up in RuneScape, and making sure that everyone's getting the updates that they really want to have. I really wish I knew what was wrong with my blooming camera, I'll tell you that much. I don't want to be this blurry. I'm not this blurred in real life.
I think it is. I think it's out of it's focusing on something else, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, no, me neither.
But it's all right. At least it's working, right? So that's quite nice.
It's a camera. I've got moderator feet on that.
I mean,
what do you mean? At least it's working. My webcam's working perfect. Everyone's getting creeped out about it in chat as well. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I've got tons of pictures where I look like this as well, so we'll just use them every time.
Cool. Cool. Then we'll move a bit more to the general structure of the ninja team. Clay, could you kind of give like a bit of an overview of how the structure is within the ninja team, and also kind of what your role within that is then?
Yeah, so kind of went into a bit of detail, but essentially I'm, I guess, head ninja. So I'm directing the team. I'm choosing what the updates that we're going to be doing are. I'm using the expertise that I have in my team to figure out the best ways of challenging quality of life issues and making sure that we're getting the best things done and changing things in the best way. And I've got a great team behind me to really target the stuff that is the best changes that we can make. So a lot of like the really good stuff that you're seeing has come from the guys. So we're all working together really to get the best stuff. Yeah. We've got 3 developers and the 2 QA now. So we expanded a little bit. We hired or rehired, I guess, 2 new ninjas or old ninjas that have come back to the team.
You recruited them, I imagine.
Yes. Well, they never really lost their ninjaship. Both of them have been in the ninja teams before, so they're clearly a good fit for the ninjas. And Mod Kyozi and Mod Shogun are back in the ninja team, come back in swinging. So we've got a really good team behind us now.
The only mod we've not named is Mod Abe, right?
Mod Abe, yep.
Mod Abe. And
who was here from the beginning, yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Cool. And then we've also, of course, got Mod Carrie as well, who helps out kind of from the community management side, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Yes. So am I right then in kind of assuming that the structure is kind of you've got you as the head ninja, so to speak, and then we've got the developers, moderator, Mod Shogun, and Mod Abe, together with the QA, Mod Breezy, and Mod KOC. This is Mod KOC. Thank you. I'll get there in the end. And then to support you and kind of do all the communication around, you've got Mod Carry as kind of the general structure for the ninja team.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. I thought I'll get that in the clear because I had a quick look at the ninja page on the wiki the other day, and there's a lot of ninjas still there. So I think it's I don't think we have really communicated that clearly in the past. Ninjas.
I mean, I guess
always.
If you're talking about the wiki page, there are like several advisors. So Mod Timbo is an advisor to the team, and then we've also got, I don't know what his mod name is, our localization specialist, who's also really good. Everybody knows his mod name.
No, I don't.
Maybe I'll look it up.
I know what it is, but
Then say it.
it's not coming up in my head. This is the thing. We'll figure it out. Mod Dawn it is. Thank you, Shogun. It's Mod Dawn. Yes, Dawn.
Okay.
If you try and pronounce it with a slightly German accent as well, just do Dawn. I hope I'm not insulting anyone in Germany right now, but that's the side of that. Yeah, so you've got that as well. The thing is, and I think you kind of already started mentioning that a little bit, right, with Mod Timbo, and that there are also kind of all these advisors. Like the way the ninja team tends to work is relatively different from many of the other teams, right? There's a lot of advice and a lot of communicating going backwards, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess
Kind of.
everyone at Jagex is a ninja in some way, because everybody here is, we're in some ways we're all trying to make sure the quality of life is good for RuneScape. So honestly, everyone's a ninja, and you'll find ninja improvements coming from all aspects of the development team. But yeah, so we've got this specific team that is solely concentrated on looking into quality of life, but everyone's a ninja, really.
Oh, that's very wholesome to say. Would you are there difference in the way you'd say the ninja team works in comparison to the other teams? Like, is it a different rhythm or a different approach?
I think we work much faster.
Yeah, I think the big difference is the big difference really between like us and the other teams from like working on both sides is like other teams use something called Scrum, which a TLDR is like Scrum means that you commit to doing a bunch of work over the next 2 weeks, and then you don't really change your plan for that next 2 weeks. Whereas what we work is something called Kanban, which TLDR is we just work from the top of a backlog, where Kalea is always working on reprioritizing that backlog, and it means that we can be more reactive. So an example of that would be 2 examples that we've had recently. One was the Major Zamorak, where we saw it was coming up all over the place of like, oh, you're releasing this new runecrafting relic, runecrafting is going to be big, can you make the Major Zamorak have left-click teleport? And because we work in a different way to where we're not committing to 2 weeks worth of work and can't change on it, we could just be like, okay, this is actually really high priority for us to do, and we could just jump on it straight away. And the other example of that was Grace of the Elves, where we're playing archaeology, which means most people doing archaeology have Grace of the Elves, and we could prioritize that over all of the other stuff that we were doing because so many people were interacting with archaeology. So I think that's the big difference, is that we can be much more reactive in the work that we're doing versus other teams. But that's just based on what our goals are as a team, right?
Yeah, yeah. Are we happy with? Have we ever said like kind of vaguely what our goals is, or how we see the Ninja team? And is that something worth sharing here?
I mean, I think primarily it's to improve quality of life, right? We're here just to make sure that every minute that you're playing in RuneScape is feels like a good minute almost. It's you're not getting caught out by things that should be better. Ultimately, we want to make every second that you're playing RuneScape really, really good, feel really good.
Cool. I wanted to ask, because you already said like the development is different in the way we approach it, moderator. Are there things quite different from the QA side of this as well, then, Mob Breezy, or is it relatively similar? Ooh. I think Mob Breezy is hanging a little bit. Mob Breezy? Can you hear us? Oh.
He's back. No.
I think he's turned into Mod Freezy. Some of them are saying in chat. No. We'll get. Okay. I hope our producer will let us know once we've got. Yeah, we'll get back to it once Mod Freezy or Mod Breezy is back. I hope to get a note in my ear. We'll move on briefly further. Also, I just wanted to say, we can't really see it, but at least I'm glad that you are wearing the ninja shirt here, Mod Kalea. I was secretly hoping to see a few more of them. Yeah, there you go. Proud Ninja team. I know Moderator and Mod Breezy have it as well, but I was hoping to see it as well. Mod Breezy, you're back. Woo! All right, we'll give it another go. There you go. What a beautiful timing. It was actually my next note to talk about the Ninja gear anyways. Are there differences for you as a QA on the Ninja team as well compared to being on the other teams?
There's not really too many. For the most part, I basically have everything's the same. I think there are certain specific aspects that you might have to look at differently if you're in Ninja, and especially with what we try and do pieces of content. Have I frozen again?
No, you're still fine. No, you're still good. Oh, now you have frozen.
No, now you're frozen.
Okay.
Oh. I think you are unfrozen again. Did you just reconnect again?
I don't know. Am I good now?
Yeah, we can hear you right now. If you just continue your story,
what are
we'll
the chances
let you know.
Oh, he's gone again.
Oh, okay.
Right, he's gone.
We'll see if we can get you back later again, Mod Breezy.
That's how quickly a ninja can appear and disappear.
Oh,
Gone.
yes. We were aware that there were some issues with some of our internet providers as well. So it might be that Mod Breezy is affected by one of those, sadly. We'll continue. So we kind of know what the Ninja team does, what they do, a little bit of how they work. But I kind of wanted to also talk about how we got to the Ninja team where we are right now, because I think the first strike is about 4 months ago. I think the first strike was in January, February, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Something
February,
like that.
I think.
There you go.
End of February from memory, yeah.
Oh, rip. He even fell
Rip,
off
mate, rip.
our live stream now. Yeah. Put the F in chat for Mop Breezy or Freezy, depending on what you want to call him. And I've kind of wanted to go back because I just kind of want this almost to be the story of the Ninja team, this live stream. How did we get to where we are right now, Motkalea? Like, well, where did we make the decision to go full on for the Ninja team again?
So I think it was kind of end of the year last year, actually, is when I approached Mod Warden with the idea of bringing the Ninja team back, similar to how it had been in the past, and getting a focus team to strike at quality of life and make it better. And it kind of over the Christmas period is when we were working together to bring the team up and figure out exactly what it would want to hit at and exactly what it would want to do. And then, managed to form kind of, I think it was like, what was it, mid-January or so, moderator, that we all came together? It was very quick. It was all mid-February.
Mid-February, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I think maybe we got that first day out before we'd actually properly formed. Because I know there was bits of resource that we were just, bringing together in an attempt to get the Ninja team going as quickly as possible. And I know I was pulled into a meeting at one point, and from that meeting it was like, okay, we're a go, we're going to get started. And it was, I think, 3 or 4 days after that, the Ninja team had been pulled together on the set of desks, and we were going at it. So, spun out of nowhere, there to attack the game.
Cool. I just got in my ear as well the confirmation from our producer that Mob Breezy, or Freezy at the moment, I just like it. That it just lines up so perfectly with what happened. Is restarting his internet, so we will see that. I also know in the beginning, and I found that quite interesting. Like, there was a lot of conversations you guys had as the early team of like what you guys wanted the Ninja team to be, how you wanted to position it, which I found really cool. And then at some point, you was like, okay, we now know what we want to do and want to be as a Ninja team, and then you guys went straight into like the first Ninja strike, really. And since then, you guys basically not stopped. Like, the amount of strikes we've already got, I think we're up to 4 strikes right now. Within that relatively short time frame, I think it's something that's been pretty impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I know, looking at the list right now, and on Ninja Strike 2, we did the Charming Imp interface, which I think was your first thing on Ninja, wasn't it, moderator?
It was. I went a bit over the top. Sorry.
Very excited.
Was there anything very challenging about the Charming Imp interface, or was it something that you wanted to fix for a very long time already, moderator?
No, it's just something. So my approach to these sort of things in Ninja is like, I want to get things to a point where I don't have to revisit it again in the future. So by that I mean, like with Charming Imp, the actual initial job was to make the Charming Imp use an interface similar to Herbicide and Bone Crusher and stuff, and that was it. And then when I was there, like I always look at things as like levels. Like the next level up from that would be to then look at the interfaces themselves for like Charming Imp and the existing ones, the Bone Crusher, Herbicide, Seedicide, and like seeing, are there any redesigns I can do here? Are there any things that I can, whilst I'm already doing this piece of content, is there anything else that I can do around it that will make it even better? And that's how I try and view things whenever I pick up a job. And then it means that the initial job, it bloats in size, but like it means that in the future we ideally should never really have to go back to the Charming Imp stuff. Like those interfaces are done, they're final. Like the other option would be we made the interface, we left the interfaces as they were, but we just made an interface for Charming Imp and put that out. And then like a year later, someone says, "Oh, it'd be really cool if like we could get GE values on these drop cleaner interfaces and the XP values." And he's like, "Okay, fine." Then we have to revisit it, implement that feature, then release it. And then someone says, "Oh, like this text is a little bit confusing. It would be better if it was worded a bit clearer." And then you got to go back to it, you got to update it, and then you release it. And like you never really finish something. So I always try and just get my way of thinking about it is like, if we can get things to the point where where we don't have to visit them again, like that's really good, because like we've got 19-20 years worth of content that we've got to get through, right? Or that we can get through, and we're never going to fully achieve that if we're continuously revisiting the things that we've already worked on. But yeah, that's just my way of approaching things anyway.
You want to tackle it all in one go. Go for it, Makalea.
So I was just going to say, having said that, it's not that we're not going to go back and update other things. Like if players come up with feedback and things when we've released something, then obviously if that's worthwhile and it's something that we haven't considered, we will. But for the most part, like our ethos is, if we can make it better up to 100%, we absolutely want to. In the amount of time that we've got. Sometimes I foresee there are some things where when we've attacked a certain area of the game, we're not going to be able to get absolutely everything we want to do, maybe in that strike, but we might revisit it, at a later point. But we've always got that kind of idea in our head that that's what we want to do. So yeah.
Cool. I want to go back like a couple of sentences. Moderator, you said something that's like, well, you were playing it and you were like, well, I kind of want to fix these things outside of like the initial thing that I had to fix as well. Is that something you always tend to? Is that part of the Ninja ethos, and is that like a part of like the process as well? Or?
I mean, looking around, the issue is something that myself and Breezy definitely like to do a lot of. Because we're both very similar in that we gear towards sort of like UX design, which is like user experience stuff. So that it's the things that we both naturally enjoy doing. So when we're looking at things anyway, we are naturally looking at other things around it. And like I think as Kalea said, right, if it's quick enough for us to do while we're already there, then it makes sense to do it. If it's like a bit bigger or like full-on reworks of things, then maybe it's not a Ninja thing, but we still keep that in our back pocket and like give it to other teams. Or maybe it's something we can revisit in the future in like a lightweight version. But yeah. Does that answer the question?
Yeah. Oh.
Having the expertise in the team, like we're all players in Ninja and we all play it, and there are some updates like the Grace of the Elves one. It was just brilliant. Like moderator came to me with that one, said, "Hey, this should be fixed." And I was looking at his recommendations for the changes, and I was like, "I can't wait for us to get that in game. It's going to make archaeology so much better." And the week before release, I knew it was coming, and I was like, I can't wait for that to come out. I don't know if it's worth playing archaeology while I'm waiting for that release to come out. Grace of the Elves was just
I
such
really
a good...
struggle with that. I really struggle with that, with what Kalea is just saying, of like, when we're improving things on our end and it's something that I'm interacting with in the live game and you feel the difference, it's like, oh man, you almost don't want to do it in the live game anymore because you know how much better it's going to be. Shattered Worlds was another example of that. When we did Shattered Worlds, like going back into a different stream and playing Shattered Worlds on a different internal stream, without all of our changes, it's like, oh my god, that's when you really see like the effect of all of the changes that you've done. It just feels it just exaggerates all the problems that were there before after you fix them. You don't really notice the fixes necessarily after each individual fix because they can be quite minor, but then when you put them all together, it's pretty significant, which hopefully the players are seeing at the moment.
Cool. I like how we've kind of already stumbled in the fourth Ninja Strike when we started talking about the Grace of the Elves and those things. But there were many other things as well in Ninja Strike 4. And what I really like myself is that we also did like the graphical sides of that as well. That's not something we historically, I think, have seen being a part of a Ninja Strike or a Ninja Fix, what we previously called them as well. Which is something that I've really enjoyed. Is that something we could potentially see more often in the future as well, or is this a one-off? I keep I keep swapping you with another mod. That's the issue. It's Michaela, isn't it? Yeah.
No. Yeah. Well, that's the other mod.
That's the other one. See, I was confused.
Yeah. No, I mean, the Ranch Out of Time stuff was really interesting because essentially that came out of the Dojo suggestions. So we had oh, there's so many suggestions, especially when we first launched the dojo, about please can we have a storm barn in the Wrench Out of Time. So I kind of went and I was asking questions. I was like, okay, how do we get a storm barn onto the Wrench Out of Time? And then the team, the environment guys, would have been, the ones to put the storm barn on Wrench Out of Time. Were like, nah, we want to do this. We want to do this properly. And I was like, cool, go ahead. And we managed to work out getting the time to give Granny her house, which was really, really cool. I don't know that it's going to be something we can do often, because it was a really good opportunity there. But it came from adding the storm barn. Like somehow just adding a little barn in the floor grew into this massive house. That's the ninja way, I guess, or something. But yeah, it's nice. It's nice to have.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna bring up something else which I've seen some emails about back in as well. But before we decide kind of on what the Ninja Strike is going to be about, right? So it's going to be about a specific piece of content or like an area in the game, and then what often happens, I think it's in the Ninja team. Please correct me if I'm wrong. There's like a playtest beforehand to kind of see, like, if we play through it, are there things we can see? Are you able to elaborate a bit more about that, moderator?
So pretty much with our theme strikes, at least, like, so normally with the scatter shot stuff, not scatter, like with the non-theme strikes, like what I normally try and do whenever I pick up a job, like for instance, Grace of the Elves or Charming Imp interface and stuff, is like I play it myself and then get a list of all of the changes that I would like to make, and then decide how long it's going to take to sort of do them. But like on the bigger scale ones, like the themed ones, so you've got Shattered Worlds. We haven't released any themed ones yet, but we have stuff in the works. That is a case of all of us sitting down together as a ninja team and actually let's just dedicate like 2, 3, 4 hours and just play the content, like play every angle of the content, think of it from a player's perspective. That's where we really get our UX heads on. Write down any thoughts and feelings and stuff that you have while you're playing it, and then we sort of all meet up afterwards and we go through all of our feedback and like, yeah, this didn't really make that much sense to me. Oh, this could be explained better. I didn't really like this interaction. It really frustrated me when this happened. And then that's when we build up these huge lists of changes or potential things that we would like to improve. And then that's when it's for Kalea to prioritize, decide which ones we do and don't take, and then actually prioritize them as well. But yeah, it's a case of we play the content ourselves. It's the best way of figuring out what we can improve with it, is to play it ourselves, not just like figure it out sort of thing by just looking at wiki and stuff like that. And we do like deep dive as well into like historical social posts. So for Shattered Worlds, for instance, it was a case of, okay, let's go through the last sort of like 12 months plus of historical social posts and see like what were the common themes with the players as well that they were less happy about or wanted to see improved. And we also add that into our list as well. So like there is player input as well.
Thank you for that. I'm just gonna check. Is Mod Breezy back and alive?
It's Mod Breezy.
I really hope so.
I mean, we got a smile, so I think he's back to being Mod Breezy again. Welcome back.
Hopefully this. Thank you. I hope it lasts.
I hope so too. Were you still able to catch what we were talking about, or have you missed bits and bobs about it?
Sorry. Yeah, I've missed everything.
Okay. Yeah, no, we were just talking about how the about playtest kind of, or if there are themed kind of strikes, that we try and test it ourselves to identify all the other fixes. That's kind of where we were. But yeah,
right.
I wanted to move on because we've had 4 ninja strikes. Out of all 4 of these, which one was your favorite? And I'll start with you, Mod Breezy, just in case we lose you again afterwards. which has been your favorite strike so far?
I want to say the most recent one was the most fun. Because from the jump, it already felt like it'd be a pretty big one when it released. There were quite a few things in there that I had personally wanted to do, and things in there that I personally wanted to see in game as well. And I know that there was a lot of things in there that players also really wanted. Like they were, if you asked them for a list of things, they'd be they'd be pretty high up on the list. So yeah.
Cool. Orator?
I agree that Strike 4 was probably the biggest in terms of like reaction and sentiment and stuff as well. Like when you think the headlines of it was like Stone Spirits, Ranch Out of Time, Grace of the Elves. Like that's big, right? But for me on a personal level, it has to be Shattered Worlds, just because Shattered Worlds was the first team project I worked on. And I started doing a whole bunch of changes back when TAP was a thing a few years back. And it just never got anywhere. So being able to actually go and finish that off and get Shattered Worlds to the point where we wanted it to be for the initial launch, but for various reasons didn't quite get it. So for personal reasons, it would be the Shattered Worlds strike.
Well, Kalea, what was yours?
Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with Strike 4. Although I really liked some of the improvements we got in Strike 1 and 2. Yeah, I think the nicest thing about Strike 4 was being able to tackle things like Stone Spirits that, we all know in Jagex players have wanted us to do something about since they were released, really, and like being able to actually get that out and which is something that players have been frustrated with. That's always going to have good feels, and I hope we can continue on with that. But hey, I mean, deposit all raw fish at deep sea fishing. I'm using that right now.
Ooh. Nice. Cool. Before we're going to move on to something cool and we'll bring in a fifth person on, I want to briefly talk about the Ninja Dojo as well. Malt Kalea, I got it right this time.
Hello.
Are you able to give a brief overview of what the Ninja Dojo is and where players can find it?
Yeah, so the dojo is essentially our submission form, where if you've got a quality of life improvement you want us to make, if there's something that you go into the game and you're trying to do something and it's just a bit more awkward than it should be, we really want to hear about it. We're never going to be able to pick up on every little quality of life improvement that we can make, so we want you to tell us about it. And it's been really, really helpful. I've had so many suggestions in there, far more than I can probably do with, but loads to put in the backlog and really look at and make sure that we can make improvements to, which has just been wonderful. We're never going to run out of work. And I think you can find a dojo link on most news posts, on most weekly news posts. I don't know if anyone can put it into the link, but it's just rs.games/ninja.
You can go for !ninja to get a link towards the Ninja Dojo as well.
But yeah, cool. Any quality of life, anything you want us to take a look at, stick it in there. Mod, Kari and I go through them every day at the moment, which is crazy because we were hoping to do it every day for like a couple of weeks to catch up, and we haven't. But yeah, we're getting through them. We're having a look at them. We're getting some great stuff in there. So thank you everyone for submitting stuff, and it's really helpful to see where your heads are at, especially because what's in the dojo is generally what people are playing at the moment. So like the Grace of the Elves stuff was in there all the time. The Stormbarn was very much in there, and that really helps to guide us on what is most important to players at the moment.
So it really helps kind of figuring out what's going to be in those next ninja strikes, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I have a bullet point here with stats question mark. Are there any cool stats you've got about the Ninja Dojo or things that you can share?
I've got it up, but I need to find the right. Oh, that's the wrong one. Okay,
I'm putting you on the spot for it.
Yeah, you totally are. And I read this earlier and I forgot to look at it. Okay, so in total, so far we've had 4,907 submissions, which has been crazy, and we've got through about 3,000 of those, just over. So we're making our way through, and what I tend to do as well is on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday we'll go through the ones that are most recent, so we can like pick up on stuff that players are playing at the time, to make sure that if there's something big that's cropping up a lot at the moment, we've got to look at that. Let's see, any more interesting stats? What's this?
I mean, I think 4,907 submissions is an awful lot of submissions already.
It's huge. It's
and I hope that after today's live streams, I will get more suggestions and we'll go through the 5,000. I think that would be quite impressive. I
it's
don't
fun.
want to
It's
add
a fun
more
part of
work
the day.
for you and Mod Carry, but at the same time, I kind of want to give
You
you and Mod
absolutely
Carry more
do.
work that way.
No, yeah, it's interesting. We released the strike on last week, and before the strike, we were getting kind of maybe 20 to 30 submissions per day. On the strike, we got 553, which was great, but that's a lot
There
to
are
go through.
It's a lot of velocity as well, then, in when you get the submissions and all that stuff. It's cool.
Yeah. But no, it's really
All
good.
right. Cool. What I suggest is that we bring on the RS guy right now. We have him on the call, I believe. And we're going to talk a little bit about how the PAG in collaboration with the Ninja is. There you go. He's even waving to us. What nice. We can still see Moderator being extremely exciting as well. Just barely fitting in his box. But yeah, welcome, Ryan. How are you?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm doing fantastic. Moderator's looking very. He's excited to see me, I think, which is always always a pleasure. Always exciting.
Good. Do you want to give yourself a quick intro, or do for those who don't know you?
Yeah, for sure. So I've been playing RuneScape for just over 15 years. I made my account when I was like 7 years old. It's been a very, very large part of my life. I started creating content on YouTube, mostly tutorials geared towards lower mid-level players sort of introducing themselves into PVM. And then about 4 years ago, I started streaming on Twitch. And I'm currently a full-time RuneScape content creator, just with a lot of experience just through the entire game, especially with a sort of low-level introductory focus and a PVM combat focus. So I play the game every single day, and yeah, that's sort of my main thing.
Thanks. That's a mouthful of words as well. I like that. That's good. I know you haven't prepped it, but it sounded like you did, so you know how to introduce yourself. I think it's pretty good. And aside from the introduction, you are now helping us with the Ninja Player Advocacy Group, aren't you?
Yes, I am. So I'm working with a team of high-level players, working very, very closely with Mod Kalaya, where we're helping out with coming up with problems in the game or improvements that could be made, proposing potential solutions, and then we get to discuss them internally and then present them as well to Mod Kalaya, who can then sort of approve them and take a look at them and speak to the wider Ninja team to see if they're things that are in line with what the Ninja team would want to be able to implement.
Mm-hmm. Cool. That is a mouthful as well. So I want to ask you, Mod Kalaya, you started this pack, or you're doing this. Are you able to explain a bit like what we want to get out of it and how we kind of want to approach it?
Yeah, so it's really it's been really good in that kind of having these the PAG guys who are clearly like super knowledgeable and informational about RuneScape. They know exactly what they're doing, and they've got communities behind them as well who also know so much about the game and about how they play in the minutes and in the days, and exactly what they get up to. And I've had so much like really specific ideas about things that should be changed. And the best thing is when you get the ideas which are, I hear them and I'm like, why is that still a thing in the game? Why haven't we already changed that? Why haven't we already improved that? And it's that kind of stuff which has been really good to get from the PAG. And it's also really helpful when there's some things that the PAG have come up with that just matches like head on with the stuff that I got from the dojo, and it's just like a clear come together. Okay, we need to do that. We need to get on with that. But it's been really helpful because there's so much knowledge coming from everyone in the PAG, and really telling me exactly what we can do, exactly what improvements we can make, and kind of the best things that we can do with our time at the moment. And I've got so much stuff. It's just awesome. And it's been really, really, really good stuff as well. There's almost everything we've had here has been stuff that we can work on.
Mm-hmm. How has this experience been for you, Ryan? Because you've previously mainly been you've been a content creator, so kind of going into this advisory role, I think, is relatively different. How has that experience been for you?
It's been a big change for me personally, just managing people and working with a lot of players. But it's been absolutely incredible just to have the opportunity to work on a game that I've put a lot of my life into and I'm very passionate about. And I'm really happy with the team of 8 players that that I selected as well. Everyone's very passionate. We've been working together extremely well, and I think we've got an incredible amount of good work done. So it's gone extremely well from my perspective, but definitely a pretty large change for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're such a good bunch as well. They're so friendly. We've had 4 meetings now, I think, and we've had a good laugh, haven't we?
We have.
So the people, we the process and how the interactions is kind of hidden away. So initially we announced the PEG, and now I think we're almost we're almost near the end. What kind of is how does the communication flow kind of go? Is it like, do we have a daily meeting, or do we just have a phone call every other month, or like how does it look like?
So what we've been doing is we've been meeting every week, do an hour-long meeting with the players, as well as Mod Bolton, who's on the content creator management side, as well as Mod Kalaya and Mod Kari as well. And basically what I do during the week with the members of the PEG team is we've got our own internal sheet that we're working on where we have problems, we get to introduce them, and then every single item on there we discuss as a full team. In terms of the weighting of it, the importance of it, and then possible solutions we brainstorm as well. So for a lot of things that we've come up with, we've also got like paste bins with a good amount of information and just being able to present that as well. So then we get on a call once a week where we present the items that we think may need a little bit more, just a little bit more time and a bit of potential discussion as well. So thus far, as a group, we've come up with and agreed on the importance of, I think we're right around 300 separate unique items. And we've presented, I think, over 250 of them so far. So we're on pace to finish up this week as the final week of the PEG.
Mm-hmm. So if I can summarize it, you and your team kind of have been gathering suggestions from anywhere. You've been collating them, been discussing them as a team, and then in the end, you have like a final list, and that's what you discuss with Mokalea, Mokari, and all this kind of. If I have to make a quick TLDR from it, basically.
Yeah, exactly. We've got our sheet is separated across different categories because we didn't want to have to wait like this PVM update over this skilling update or this achievement update. So what we've done is we've split it up into 6 different facets of the game, and then each sheet has their own sort of priority list. And then when we meet with Mod Kalaya, she basically and scopes them for us and says, yeah, this is something we could look at. This is something maybe we'd want to forward on to another team to look at another point, or this is absolutely not something we can look at, which has not happened very often. I think over 95% of the items have been either within scope, as in perfect to look at as the Ninja team, or this is a good thing, but probably not for us, forwarded on to somewhere else. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really good summary.
Cool. Thank you. I want to ask, can you still use some help from the community, and if so, how can they help you with that?
So I think one of the important things about the PEG is it's separate from the dojo in terms of that's one way to collect feedback, that every single suggestion there is being looked at. And for us, most of the people on the PEG team, almost every member, has a lot of experience as a community leader as well. So we've reached out to our specific communities and have really tried to open up as wide and as broad of a discussion as possible with knowledgeable and with passionate players as well. So we've done a ton of outreach, making sure that we are, representing people as best as we possibly can. At the end of the day, we're taking those suggestions and then internally we're discussing them. But a lot of suggestions are also coming directly from us. Like as soon as I was told I would have the opportunity to, present ideas, just lots of ideas come into my head right away, just as someone who, like anyone else who plays the game every single day and has for a lot of time, there are, a good amount of things where you want to make the game as fun and as pleasant to play as possible. And every so often you encounter something that you think, yeah, is this the best way to do this? So it's really, it's a collaboration at this point between a lot of different moving parts.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything you want to add to that, Kalea?
No, I think he's put it together really succinctly there. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I'm just gonna be a bit cheeky, and I'm gonna ask you: have we already got some of the things that came out of the PEG so far? Are they already like planned to be worked on or something?
I mean, I was really proud of us because we got like a couple of the PAG suggestions in Strike 4, which was awesome. I was like, yes. Yes. That's all I'll say.
Okay, well, that's a very clear answer then. Yes, no, absolutely. I'm also curious, are there any questions from chat about the PAGs or for the RS guy or Moderator, or Breezy, or Calais as well? I think we will have a little bit of time to answer if there are any. It is PAG, by the way, which stands for Player Advocacy Group. And at the same time, it is also a cheeky reference to PogChamp, because we like our emotes. So there you go. I saw you were shaking your head, the RS guy, but it is genuinely a nod towards that. I see a lot of people bringing up the Tier 92 armor. Previously, we've said that it is something we are still progress is still being made on that, and I don't think we can say more about that at the moment. That might be a nice one as well. I just got this not from chat but in my earpiece again. The RS guy, how is your double XP life going? And would you have any good tips for people who still got some hours left in a double XP life as well?
So I might be okay to ask about this, but personally for me, I don't do a whole lot of skilling currently. It's team split week, which is the only week at Virago where you can duo hard mode. I would say, quote, easily. So I've been just doing nothing but that the entire time. So I'm almost out of DXP time, but I haven't really been skilling much. But I mean, DXP, it's all about the buyables and getting those done as efficiently as you can. And I'm glad a lot of other people have had, a really good, successful DXP. I've just been more focused on, the combat side of things. Okay.
And would you have any tips for skillers or people who, for example, want to do combat during the double XP live?
Not a whole lot, other than, I think there's a lot of stuff that people already know about planning your trees beforehand, making sure you've got a good Slayer task beforehand, all that stuff, pre-buying supplies. But outside of just the generic there, take lots of breaks, drink lots of water. That's part of the reason double XP extended or double XP live is, it lasts a little longer. It's so you don't need to do this incredible gargantuan gaming session all at once. And I think that's a really, it's a good healthy change for sure.
I see a couple of people calling you out for XP waste here. Just letting you know.
Oh, that's totally fine with me. I will get behind that. I am absolutely XP waste at this stage.
Cool. I saw a couple of messages earlier on as well during the live stream about the Inquisitor staff pieces and that you will get a random one and there's not really, you will not get them in order or there's no mitigation for getting those duplication places or dupes. I imagine that people have already suggested that to the Ninja Dojo as well. I don't know if that falls under the Ninja Dojo or the Ninja scope or whether that is still of the archaeology team that's still working on things as well. But I will happily say that the feedback around that is known and it is being discussed internally. So we've got that one as well. Then I saw another one on there which came up quite a few times that we'll address quickly as well, is about pets, about their sizes, as well as that there should be a toggle to turn them off. It's relatively similar to the other one. We know that is something you guys want, and we are talking about it. But that's kind of where it's like I just want to say we've seen the feedback, and that's kind of where it is at. Then there was another comment as well. Yeah, sorry, you want to add anything?
Well, I was just going to say I see lots of things in the chat, which we are kind of already looking to do or on my backlog already. So, just make sure, as long as you're making sure that you're putting these things in the dojo, which is where I'll be able to capture them, because anything I see on that chat right now is going to go out of my head in half an hour because I can't remember anything. So put it in the dojo.
It will be off screen within 2 minutes. So
exactly.
Yeah, just to add to that as well, I think a lot of items, are very much on our radar, and if it's something that's been suggested a lot, it's almost guaranteed it's something that we've had a look at already. But sometimes the implementation can take a little bit of time. Just to you want to make sure you get the balancing right. You want to make sure you don't, and it was talked about earlier. You don't want to have to make a ninja fix to something and then make a ninja fix to that ninja fix. You want to get it right the first time. So a lot of the time it takes a little bit of patience, but most of these big ticket items are things that have been spoken about or have been brought up.
Mm-hmm. I saw the other one just being brought up that I did write down as well. There was someone asking about quests with a question mark, and people complaining about the lack of quests. Last week, Warden on the live stream said that we do have a quest in development. So I'm just going to say, keep an eye out for when that comes into game, which is pretty cool. There was another pretty cool question as well, which I think is a nice one to talk about. I think it actually came from Shawnee, not completely sure. What criteria? So we said like, will we be doing more packs? And then one of the answers is like, well, if we think it is successful, what kind of things are we looking at to decide as a team to think if it's successful? Are you able to shine some light on that, Kalea?
I mean, I haven't been massively involved in PAGs in general, mainly just in the Ninja PAG and what benefit I can get out of it. So I don't know that I'm going to be able to say much on that subject. I know it's, as far as I'm concerned, this one has gone really well. It's given me a lot of what I need. But I know the other subjects that we've been considering for PAG are kind of very different in their scope and what they'd be looking to do. So I'm not sure. I'll have to get someone to get back to you on that one.
Cool. All right. It's almost close. I just want to double check as well with more breezy and moderator. Was there anything in chat, a question or a thing something you want to address or answer?
Nothing personally. I
No.
didn't really see anything come up.
Cool. Then I've got a very important question that I also saw people bring up in the chat, and this one is for you, Mot Kalea. Sit ready for this one because your heart might drop. We believe we've spotted a cat in the background.
Oh.
Um,
You spotted him. Has he gone off? Oh no, he's still up
I
there.
think
Yeah, I'll see if I can grab him.
Can we see the cat? It's not a good live stream if you don't have a cat.
Yeah.
Only the important stuff.
I mean, I think it is pretty important. Look at that!
Here's my little pig.
Aww.
What is this cat's name?
This guy is called Jazz. He's had
Jazz.
a very tiring morning because his new brother Togo and he have been fighting all morning. Oh yeah, that's a big yawn. I'm gonna face the camera.
You can even hear him purr. Oh, he's going to sniff the microphone.
He's gonna attack my mic in a minute.
My day's been made. I've seen a cat on live stream again. So, and I think cat is the live stream is quite happy with that as well. The chat, the live stream is. Oh, that's great. I love it. Cat on stream is quality live stream. There you have it. I don't think there's that much more to say. Yeah, I'll just repeat that, and I think you could also have seen the lower third already, is that the Twitch Prime second month is now live, and you can get yourselves 14 days of free membership. So that's quite a nice one, I would say. So if you've got your Twitch Prime, make sure to redeem it, and also use that Twitch Prime sub on one of your content creators. Could even be the RS guy, or any of the others. But I'm pretty sure that Ryan wouldn't say no to it.
Oh no, pick somebody else. 100% pick somebody else.
Okay.
As long as you use it on somebody, every month you get a free sub. The streamer, whoever you choose to use it on, does actually get actual money for that. So definitely be sure to use that. Pick someone. Doesn't matter who it is, and yeah, that's a really good way to support the streaming community.
Cool. Thank you very much. It's very wholesome as well. Thank you for joining as well. And thank you, Mot Breezy, moderator, and Mot Kalea for joining as well and talking about the Ninja team.
Of course.
There you go. You all rock. That's what they're saying in chat. You all rock. I'm slowly getting a speech impairment the longer I'm on the live stream, I guess. Thank you all for joining. Look after yourselves, and see you next time.
All right.